with Chinese Taipei versus Japan with a guest commentator who's going to be doing the play-by-play. And it's an honor to have Doug Heimberger here with me.
Hello.
He's also the volunteer organizer for this tournament.
Indeed.
So you're going to have a lot of insight on these teams. You've been living in Japan for 15 years, Doug. You want to tell us a little bit?
Sure. I've been living here in Japan for 13 years. Started playing Ultimate here in Japan. About to move to the United States and having a great time coordinating the volunteers today. And super excited to take the earpiece out for a few minutes and commentate this game between Chinese Taipei and Japan.
Be a great game.
And the whistle is off. The game is starting. Chinese Taipei pulling.
What a nice, strong pull.
And an out-of-bounds pull going out about the brick mark. You know, the conditions today, it started out yesterday, very, very sunny day, and it's turning more and more blustery as the day goes on.
It's quite an interesting climatic, unstable area here, it seems, with the sea and the mountains.
Indeed. Shimada tapping the disc in at the break.
That was a great fake.
Suzuki, the captain. Back to Shimada. And a long, deep throw.
That was beautiful.
Beautiful throw to Ogawa for the score, making it look like there's no wind here. Japan taking the lead 1-0 on an
nice
amazing,
and easy. That was amazing.
Easy, easy throw.
So we were talking a little bit just before the game to the girls from Chinese Taipei. It's a
Indeed.
young group.
Lovely group.
Lovely group. I think they're between the age of 19 and 21.
All 19 to 21, all having played Ultimate, just starting in college. Mostly playing just women's for the university team. I think a lot of them playing their first international competition. It's going to be lovely to see them here today.
Yeah, it's amazing, and they don't get a chance to play sand very often.
Don't get a chance to play sand ever. Most of them from Taichung, a city in the landlocked middle of the small island country. So
let's see how they
very
manage with this offensive point after that pull. These women are doing a great job pulling against the wind.
Indeed, an excellent pull, and Japan setting up in a little bit of a zone defense here, taking advantage of the wind and applying the pressure, clamping down, forcing away from the water.
I think they're trying to take advantage of the lack of experience on the beach.
Indeed,
because to put on a zone downwind is an interesting
zone, but again, I think trying to take advantage of inexperienced handlers and looking for that unforced error. And there it is.
Exactly, they got exactly what they wanted.
Indeed.
Unfortunately.
Tasaki picking up the disc, being very patient, centering it back.
Kudos for Taipei for adjusting to defense quite quickly.
Indeed, and I'm impressed with the amount of communication from the Taiwan sidelines. Very, very loud, and with the easy throw.
For 2-0.
Indeed, Ito, the spirit captain of Japan, throwing that, and we are 2-0 Japan after just a few minutes of play.
And they're celebrating that point while Taipei is still trying to
bring it together.
This will be such a growing experience for this team.
Exactly.
No doubt about it.
And they've played 3 games so far this weekend, and unfortunately they were outmatched in all 3 of those games. Probably looking to get their offense moving here against Japan, and I have to say this Japanese team is going to present a strong opponent to them. A couple of World Games players on this team, a lot of national team members on grass.
They've had a lot of opportunity to play together at different World Championships as well, isn't that right?
Exactly. So about half of this team, about 80 of these ladies playing for a team that just won the Kanto Regionals mud, the rest coming from a variety of teams.
No.
Don't believe that the team practiced at all, but you know that they're going to come together and have some great communication here. And you can see, again, setting up the zone in the opposite direction.
Now against the wind is going to make it a little bit harder for Taipei. They seem to be doing well, giving each other options in the cup, crashing the cup.
And run through D.
Oh, nice save.
Nice save, again, showing patience. I mean, you've been able to really move the disc around at will.
This Japanese team actually had an unexpected loss yesterday against the Filipino women.
Indeed, and we're seeing a lot of the Japanese teams struggling against the Filipino national teams. Obviously, Philippines playing a lot more on beach, practicing as much as daily for the men's team. And there, the
That
IO
was
throw
a
for the score.
beautiful IO for the score, making it look nice and easy.
And it's 3-0 Japan. Now, I said before the game I wasn't going to give my volunteers any problems during the game, but a little bit of a scoreboard error on the other side of the field. We won't make light of it here, but 3-0 Japan, again, looking now.
That said, the volunteers are doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
And they're smiling and happy and working hard, and we see volunteer yellow shirts everywhere.
And indeed, we've got yellow shirts. We've got shirts of all different colors here. We've got volunteers both from the Japan Frisbee community, from the international Frisbee community, but also a lot of local volunteers from Wakayama-ken, the prefecture where this game is being held. A lot of students, not necessarily with a lot of exposure to Ultimate, but they've been picking up scorekeeping, timekeeping, and really able to run with it. A little bit of a short pull there from Japan this time, disc barely making it past midfield. And it looks like Japan coming out this time in a person-matching defense with a little bit of a poach, but definitely applying a little bit more pressure, person to person.
Oh, I'm so rooting for Taipei to score a point right now.
That would be a great change to the momentum of this game. Obviously, Japan chanting one break, one score on the sideline during the last point.
She's
really
just
looking not to turn
forward.
over.
There we go.
And a nice swing to the middle there after a pretty high stall count. Chinese Taipei in there, again, an unforced error.
And this is so much, this for me was just an example of not playing on sand. She almost stumbled at the end.
Exactly. And I always find it easier to play on sand. You get one or two steps, and Japan there with an uncharacteristic unforced error of their own. Hopefully
that might have been a little bit of a help by the wind.
Might have, but you know, one of the things about Japanese teams, it is quite windy in Japan a lot of the year, especially in the winter. Most of these ladies playing for teams that practice 2 days a week, 52 weeks a year. They're going to be very used to playing in the wind, and again, an unforced. A little bit of a low throw there, making it back to center. Japan moving on the fast break. And with the score.
That one was no forgiving for that.
Sayaka throwing an open side throw. Easy catch. Japan taking the lead 4-0. And really hoping that the Chinese Taipei ladies here keep their heads up. I mean, this is a great challenge for them. Great opportunity to play against, you know, one of the strongest teams that we're going to see here this weekend.
Sometimes these games are the best learning experience. And I'm always have huge respect for teams that are clearly more experienced and yet maintain the intensity throughout the game. And I think in a way that's respect to your opponent.
Absolutely. I've been on both sides of that playing myself, and I always think that the best games are the ones where from beginning to end the intensity level is the same. I'm really expecting Japan's going to keep it up here going into this next point, looking for another break.
They're going to put on hard D and see if the girls...
Shimada with the pull.
Impressed with these pulls from these ladies as well. So it's a very interesting thing how this new brick rule has changed the pull. It's more important to get it in a way than to get it far away.
Mm-hmm. Definitely doesn't encourage the type of just throw it out the back hucks that you've seen before in these type of windy tournaments, giving you time to get down and set up. It is moving the game along a lot faster, is what I've seen. Japan clamping in with the zone again.
Yep. They seem very close.
Very tight, very close zone. Looks almost double teaming.
I'm not sure if they're not double teaming. I think it depends.
Not going to leave it to the field to call the double team, but it definitely, from our angle, looks like it.
Did exactly what they wanted to happen.
Throwing it right into Madoka, the spirit captain of this team, one of their key players. Japan setting up in their traditional vertical stack.
Unforgiving O by Japan. Quickly putting the disc off. Calmly looking for each other.
And again, the IO throw for the score.
We're going to see a lot of that. We've seen actually differently from all the other games we've had today with Japan on this field. A lot more close tick-tock kind of throws, handling kind of plays. We've seen a lot of long hucks throughout the day. So this is nice to see a completely different style of O from these girls, also influenced by a larger roster. So I think you also have the energy and the legs for substitution, so you can run a lot and make a lot of cuts in 1 point and then sub out 1 or 2 points.
Absolutely. I mean, this team definitely being a full-on 15-player roster, having 15 players on the field, not looking to get off the field and rest right away, but being patient with it. I think you're also seeing just a lot more of traditional Japanese women's ultimate, which relies a lot more on those tick-tock throws. And obviously you've seen a lot of that on the world stage with some of these players moving very far in intercontinental and world's level competitions.
All over the world.
All over the world.
In the top American teams, there's also...
Exactly. And
I'm so impressed with these pulls.
another beautiful pull.
Against
all the
the
way to
wind,
end
look
zone.
at that.
And Japan moving very fast again to set up what looks to be a zone look.
Oh, nice. That was nice.
And you can just hear the level of communication from the sideline of both teams here. Both teams really a lot of talking, both on offense and defense.
Oh, unfortunate. Good idea. Just a little bit too little spin on the disc, and of course the wind takes it down. And now
and again,
Japan
just moving the disc with
is going to convert it
freely.
or not. Let's see if Taipei
Very nice
can
fake, very open, and open side. Open side. That was Yakawa to Nakajima for the score. And we're at 6-0. Almost
We are at
halftime.
6-0. So we have some shout outs to do in this game. Let's do it right now. What do you think, Doug?
I thank you for reminding me on that. You know, we want to give a shout out to WFDF, supporting and promoting the global advancement of disc sports and spirit of the game.
And VC for fitting the world's best ultimate player since 1998.
Also to Discraft. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports.
Friction gloves, be prepared for rain, humidity, cold, wind, and more.
And UP, Universe Point cleats, specifically designed for the great sport of ultimate, but not beach ultimate.
And the greatest bag. By the way, they have greatest bags here, and they're wonderful. The #1 bag designed by and for beach ultimate players.
And Japan with the pull that goes out of bounds for the first OB pull of the game.
So up. Japan setting up their defense.
Chinese Taipei looking to come out in a vertical stack here, and it looks like Japan putting on a person offense, and there's the first long throw of the game. Unfortunately, it's going to be for a turnover. But Japan now very deep into their backfield.
It's hard to keep your cool at this point. Oh, somebody's down.
Play on.
Yep, play on. No injury called. See somebody striking deep.
Yep. And the throw just out of bounds. And you know, even with a team like this that plays so well together, you're going to see that kind of turnovers. This team largely not practicing, largely engaged right now right in the middle of the Japanese club season.
And they just had their regionals a couple of weeks ago, so they're also
Yep.
tired from that, I'm sure.
Regionals 2 weeks ago, nationals next week, and another unforced turnover. These Japanese players really having the choice of a lot of throws, and a beautiful score.
That was a very nice catch.
An absolute mid-throw.
My goodness.
Mid-stride
He
throw
came
for
out
the
of
score.
nowhere for that one. That was amazing.
And we are at halftime, 7-0.
We are at halftime very quickly. Let's hope Taipei can score. So back to our shout-out. So up.
Universe Point cleats, specifically designed for the great sport of ultimate.
And Eric, fighting cancer through early recognition. We also have friction gloves. Be prepared for it. No, we've talked about them already. And BULA, of course. This tournament is a WFDF event in association with BULA. BULA promoting the spirit and the sport of beach ultimate worldwide.
And we're at halftime, and halftime is just a mere half, but it looks like the team's taking a brief moment here. I'm not sure if there was a timeout called.
Probably not, and probably just coming from grasswind, in which there is at halftime there is some kind of a stoppage. Normally on beach there is no stoppage. I don't think they probably call the timeout, but they're used to.
They're used to it.
They're used to it. So how many volunteers do you have here this weekend, Doug?
You know, with my group, we've got about 30 volunteers, with about 10 to 15 of them coming in from outside of Japan, and then the other 15 mainly being college students.
Fantastic. So
Most
it's
of
a
them working
huge
2-3
learning
days.
Experience for them.
Great learning experience for them. A lot of them very used to Japan rules, which are a little bit different than WFDF rules. We actually don't have half times in most of our games here. Games actually end at time. So we'll play a 50-minute game, and if the disc is in the air at 50 minutes, it is dead.
And so ties
Even
are
if the
okay?
throw's up, ties are often okay.
I went to a tournament in New Year's that ties were okay. I actually enjoyed it very much.
It's interesting, but it can lead to very weird situations in pool play when you'll end up with a couple of teams with some ties.
Serious ties, yes.
Some serious ties. We played a tournament last weekend where one team actually advanced to the top 8 with no wins and 2 ties out of pool play. So you can end up with some very unique situations.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks like we're coming together here with the Spirit Captain of Japan, Akagi-san, ready for the pull.
I think we've already mentioned it, how incredible it is these girls are maintaining their intensity, maintaining their fantastic pulls. And
the second half underway. Taipei,
nice
recovery
second,
catch.
Yes, exactly.
And again, Japan planting with playing person defense at this point, but recognizing how to cut off those angles and make it a lot harder for the handlers here.
Oh, that was a complete miscommunication.
Miscommunication with Yuhan, the handler, one of the key players of this team.
And
been
great
playing
defense by Japan as well. I mean,
exactly.
Almost a forced miscommunication by just making it
and
difficult.
Again, the IO throw for the score.
Seen a lot of that.
That was Ogawa throwing to Akagi for the score. Japan moving at 8-0.
And as we said before, maintaining the intensity, celebrating every point. And the Taipei girls just having to keep their heads up and stay in the game. And fight to get that one score in. It's one at a time.
I hate to say it, but you could see a little bit of the Taipei spirit start to bend there. The captain taking a few seconds to call her line. Looks like she has a couple of lines established to move quickly. You know, one of the hard parts of beach is there's not much time.
There's not much
when
time.
You come off a point with 45 seconds to get your next line on.
That's right, in a 45-minute game as well, which can be very quick.
It goes by very, very fast, and even in a game like this.
Exactly, and a hard cap at 13. So we've seen 8 points go by quite quickly, and 5 more points. If Japan scores 5 more points, the game is over. So
Japan keeping the rotation pretty light. Akagi-san is going to make the pull here again. It looks like Japan really leaning on their D-line to keep moving in this game.
And we have the honor to see the Japanese squad right in front of us, looking very happy.
Japan looking, again, a little bit more of a zone look here. Japan really showing the variety of defense they can bring to bear here. And Taiwan failing to get off some of the...
Oh, but that was...
Oh. Fortunately, it looks like the wind might have...
Yes, a little bit more clip on that. And yeah, it's like half a meter too short. It looks like Taipei is having to adjust, not adjusting so well. They're not giving the swing. They have the dump, but they need the swing, and they're not having it at this point.
And Japan, unfortunately, is recognizing that at this point and actually giving away the swing.
Oh, look, they're getting another chance.
Another uncharacteristic
turnover.
Error there. Tasaki coming up just short of the catch. Japan moving very quickly in the zone, and another attempt at the Hawk.
I think these are starting to be like almost desperate passes, hoping to get the disc down there and away from the end zone.
It's nice to see Chinese Taipei trying something different. They weren't
Sometimes
able to move the disc very well.
Taking a little bit of a breath, and then and they do have the open. They do have the open person, so the decision is the right one. It's just the execution. Sometimes that comes also from experience.
Exactly.
And on grass, it's so much easier to adjust because you so much faster can get to the disc.
Yeah, you can really see that for a lot of these folks, it might be their 4th game playing ever on beach.
Yes. Oh.
And just catching it on the line, the easy throw.
Easy throw for 9-0.
And that throw from Ito-san, one of the Spirit captains, to Akagi-san, the other Spirit captain. A spirited score by Japan.
A spirited score. Speaking of spirit, we just got some great news. Travis, who's the spirit director at this tournament, he's also the head of the WFDF Spirit Committee, is doing a fantastic job. And he just sent out a report last night, after the first day. And the lowest average spirit score at this tournament was a 10.
Can you believe that?
Fantastic.
Can you believe it?
I have seen at this field, and I mean, I've been here, I think I didn't commentate 2 of the games so far. I have seen 0 issues. I mean, there's been calls. They've been very well dealt with. Great communication. And here we go.
Japan changing out their line, their captain with the pole, Suzuki-san. landing looks like just out of bounds. And the wind actually shifting around a lot here right now. We're feeling a few drops of rain.
But it feels good because it's warm. It actually, this rain, if it stays like this, it's welcome for me.
I would agree. It's been a very muggy day. You know, the forecast really called for a lot of wind today. I was expecting wind to start being an influence, but it really hasn't been. Taipei bringing out a lot more movement.
Oh, nice.
Getting a good string of throws together.
Oh, come on.
And approaching their own end zone. Are they going to get the score? And they got the score.
That was a great point. That was
a great
fantastic
point.
offense.
Just moving, taking the space available to you, and the score from Yuxuan to Yi Chun. Yuxuan, their spear captain, one of their key players.
Making it look nice and easy, moving the disc down. That looked like an experienced beach team. That looked wonderful.
Indeed, you know, really taking advantage of the space that the Japanese team gave them on the point there, and all the throws, 100% throws and catches.
Managing to at least put one on the scoreboard, which is always nice.
Always nice. Definitely changed the spirit. And now Chinese Taipei with the chance to break. Let's see their D-line out on the field.
That'd be nice to see them break, actually.
And it looks like their captain, Yuhan, again, 4-year player for the mixed team Supernova, going to make the pull here.
That's right. And look at the energy on the team. Just completely changed by that 1 point. How quickly, what a difference a point makes. Isn't there a song saying what a difference a day makes?
What a difference a day makes. And let's see
what a difference
the
a point makes.
Japanese offense out on the field now for the first time in a while. And it looks like Chinese Taipei has elected for person matching defense.
They're doing a decent job with it. It's difficult
again,
to stay with these.
Giving away some unders, but taking away the deep. Japan getting, there's that IO throw again.
Oh, look at that beautiful throw. Is she going to get there?
The layout score.
That was great.
And
so speaking of songs.
Great score by Ogawa-san.
I had an opportunity to.
10-1.
10-1.
Sorry.
I had an opportunity to go to a traditional karaoke place last night.
You know, we both had interesting nights last night. Mine one of the more traditional nights, and I think yours one of the more interesting, perhaps
traditional nights as well.
Traditional night of drinking in a bar. Your night, I heard, was a little bit more unique.
It was unique. I had a fantastic sushi dinner hosted by Shirahama, who I call the Shirahama master. Hiro, I think his name is actually. Fantastic. I really enjoyed his company. We had a wonderful sushi dinner with some of the local people, as well as the Japanese Flying Disc Federation, and Moro, and Patrick. It was a very nice night. And then we went to a karaoke bar in which I had the opportunity of listening to Moro sing, and he's amazing. He's got an amazing voice. I did not expect it.
I would not have expected that either. Japan
Taipei.
really giving Taiwan, the Chinese Taipei, the backfield here. Not applying a lot of pressure. Giving them just a little bit of space to move up the field.
They're playing so nicely, though.
That looks like just a little bit of a miscommunication there.
Miscommunication.
Fang Wei with a chance, but electing to go under instead of going deep. And fortunately, those kind of throwaways are going to cost you in a game like this one.
They are. See if they can double their score.
But it's good to see Chinese Taipei bringing a little bit more momentum, forcing a little bit more and preventing the Japanese defense from just clamping down on them and getting the D, getting it back.
They got a chance. See if they can double their score, Doug. That would be really good.
And again, Japan clamping in here. It'd be really nice to see
Nice cut.
a little bit more swings from the Chinese Taipei offense. Speaking
There
of the swing,
is.
and
I guess they heard you.
Oh,
no!
Such an opportunity for the score, and
how unfortunate and unlucky.
just slipping out of the
It didn't land on her
hands.
back because that would have been in.
It would have, in fact. And let's see now if Japan slows it down, you know, with the uncharacteristic turnover on their offense.
Nice to see Chinese Taipei putting on strong D and trying really hard to stay and to shut down the quick.
And again, Japan just using the full width of the field, something I think Chinese Taipei has been struggling with the easy throw. Watanabe to Tasaki for the score, and we're at 11-1.
11-1.
11-1 about 24 minutes into this game. So,
well, Chinese Taipei still has a chance to score.
Chinese Taipei still has a couple chances to score, and we've really seen the last couple points their offense start to come alive. It feels like if they can move the disc a little bit faster and use the width of the field, they can get things moving here more.
That's right. Doug, you've been living in Japan for a while now.
A very long time, 13 years.
That's a long time. So what do you think is the biggest difference between Asian Ultimate and Japanese Ultimate, let's just keep it more specific, and US Ultimate?
I mean, it's a good question because I actually have only played one tournament in the U.S. ever because I started playing in Japan. So I'm probably not the best one to ask.
No, then forget it. Sorry, I asked. I thought you had.
What I do know from watching and having gone to a lot of World Club Championships and national team championships is really the technicality of the play versus the physicalness. You know, what we're seeing out of the women's team here, the use of the IO throw, the use of a lot of vertical stack, the use of the, as you called it, the tiki-toni offense of lots of short throws versus the big huck game. I mean, obviously, this game is a game where both teams are really matched up very evenly height-wise, but you've definitely seen a lot of games this weekend with teams bringing out much taller teams. The New Zealand teams in particular really outclassing some of the other teams just in height and using that. But I think the Japanese teams have become experts at playing a technical game, and I think a big part of that comes from the amount of practice the teams have. And
that was a very nice throw.
And the score!
How exciting! That was a very cheeky, nice throw.
That was a beautiful place to space. You know, Japan backfield there really bracketing the team, and
great use of the wind to make that disc curve straight into the hands of her receiver. That was pretty impressive.
Into the hands. And to the Japanese team's credit, I'm putting the pressure on right before the catch.
So
a lot of credit to the...
That was awesome. And speaking of height, I mean, you can't buy height.
You can't buy height, but she just got the disc.
That's right. So after living here for such a long time, you are going back soon. Will you be playing Ultimate back in...
Well, I'm playing Sunbreak in 3 weeks, so the answer is yes.
Well, you're moving to the right place for Ultimate.
Seattle's a great place for Ultimate. I almost feel like there's too much Ultimate versus here. But there's a big difference. You know, the teams here, my club team, we practice once a week, but we practice for 4.5 hours, which is a lot longer and just a lot more time playing together than I think a lot of U.S. teams, which again goes back to if you're going to rely on technical play, you've got to work together.
Yeah. Yes,
and that's
true.
An interesting thing with this national team because not having practiced, you can still see just that a lot of the top teams here are playing similar styles and able to play together so easily.
Just a little bit too high, unfortunately. But about half this team comes from one club.
Exactly. Half this team comes from MUD, which is one of the top 3 teams. Throwaway from Shimada there. 8 of the 15 players from MUD, team that won Kanto Regionals last week, so they'll go into Nationals next weekend as one of the top seeds.
Oh, so they'll have a lot of Ultimate at this point.
You know, this summer there's just a lot of Ultimate between AOBUC and an AOUGC in Shanghai next month, and then the Japanese club season. I've talked to a lot of players just saying that they have tournament fatigue.
I could imagine.
And a beautiful hand block there by Ogawa to return the disc to the Japanese side. Captain Suzuki picking up the disc, looking to center it.
Very nice to see Taipei on the other side, really cheering on their mates to do great deeds. That was a fantastic catch
there by Yatsurugi. And a great grab for the score there.
Wow, another great grab. It's incredible.
Captain Suzuki for the score. And you can see these Chinese Taipei players, they're not going to go out without a fight. They're still putting a lot of pressure on the Japanese team there.
This is their last chance to score a point.
Indeed. I'm sure they're putting out their best line.
But speaking of physicality, both these teams are actually quite fast and in quite great shape. We've seen some really good adjustments on this soft sand for discs behind and a little bit forward, and some great layouts the whole weekend and in this game as well.
Indeed.
So yeah, so speaking about, and we were talking about US Ultimate, we had a woman who played with us for a weekend, and she told me that she started playing in college in the US, in Chicago, I believe, in the Chicago region. And then her mother said, "What are you playing? What is this game?" And so her mother got sort of interested in it and started for the first time playing at 65 or something like this.
That's amazing.
They had a senior league in Chicago.
Ida with the pole. Japan showing person defense, obviously looking to get the last break here and put this game to bed. But
oh, come on.
Chinese Taipei not willing to give up
We've
The
seen
nice huck there.
couple of
Unfortunately,
those
a little bit too
attempts.
long.
And there is an open receiver. Maybe a little bit too little spin on the disc, a little bit too much curve, and just unfortunately it blades down into the ground. And now it might be game points.
Japan just all underthrows. And the huck.
And is that game point? It
And
looks
that's
like it
game
will be.
point. The huck scored by Kashino to put this game to bed. Japan taking it 13-2.
That's it. And they're celebrating their win. And Taipei has nothing to be ashamed of. They put on a great game for us, and I really enjoyed this with you.
I enjoyed
Doug?
this too, and you know, this is the second highest score that the Taipei ladies have got in this tournament because they scored just 1 point in 2 of their 3 other games. So I'm sure celebrating this, they're going to enjoy it, and they've got more games to go.
It'll be great to see how things progress. I mean, this is a 6-team division, so they might even have a chance to play again, or maybe not. But they will be playing. They will likely be playing at least 1 or 2 or 3 more of the teams that they've played against, and we'll get a chance to see how they've evolved throughout the weekend. And that's a very nice thing.
Exactly.
It's great to be here with you.
Well, great to be here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope we get to do this again in the next couple of days.
I'm
Bye-bye.
Doug Heimberger.
I'm Sophia Pereira. See you soon.